Hey everyone, it's Chris Reeves with TRIARC Systems, and welcome to another episode of Shop Talk. And today we have a special guest, and we have Lieutenant Dan Colasanto, and he is the Vice President of TTPOA, which is the Texas Tactical Police Officer Association. And today is just Dan's a good friend of ours, and we just kind of want to bring him to the shop and have a little bit of talk about gear breakdown for local SWAT teams around this area. And so he brought in some of the gear today, and thanks for doing that today, Dan. Appreciate it out of your busy schedule. And so let's just go on. So we have obviously plate carrier, armor system, pistol belt, the rifle systems that you guys use, helmet, night vision. So we'll get into all that. And first, if you could tell some of the people out there what TTPOA does, what they're about, and how they can get involved.
Okay, so Texas Tactical Police Officers Association. We have several regions. We have a region in every part of the state. State's broken down into regions. We have 8 regions, and our main goal is to provide good, affordable training for police officers. So to be a member, you can do a team membership, you can do an individual membership, you can be active law enforcement, active military, retired law enforcement. You can go to the website ttpoa.org. And it basically tells you everything we have. We do classes, although lately with the COVID, we haven't been doing many classes. Unfortunately, our conference got canceled because of that. But we have classes all throughout the state. Some really big names. We have Dan Brokos is one of them. Scott Jedlinski. We have Jonas
Polson,
Jonas Polson. So we bring in some big name guys. We have some other, we do basic SWATs, advanced SWATs, those kind of things. We have a conference every year. So next year's conference will be in April, usually early April. It's going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area again this year since it was canceled.
So the conference does travel throughout the state, correct?
Yes, the conference travels throughout the state, usually Dallas, Houston, and maybe some other areas. The big issue we have is finding a hotel big enough to support the vendor show, which is huge.
Huge show.
You guys are a huge supporter, and we appreciate that. So we have, like I said, we have training throughout the year. We have the conference, and we also have a competition that's usually in October, and that kind of rotates around as well.
So, but typically obviously with the political climate and the pandemic going around, so normal op tempo, you guys would have training throughout the whole year.
Yes, correct? We'll have. In a normal year, you'd have 3 or 4 classes, sometimes in a region, definitely 3 to 4, maybe even more classes throughout the state. I mean, we've had classes, and we still do have them booked already into 2021.
Yeah. And so one thing I noticed too is that, so all the training and the instructors you bring in, you guys do a vetting process, which I like in the sense that you bring in good quality training to your members of the association.
Yeah, so what we'll do, obviously some of the big name people, everybody knows who they are, but other people, we're always looking for good instructors. And so with the vetting process, what we'll do is somebody will say, hey, I like, for example, hey, Chris Reeves is a great instructor. Okay, well, we'll contact him. I'm not. I'm just using that as an example. We'll bring him in, and part of the deal is, hey, you kind of teach a class for free, and we have guys go to it, or we'll contact our members and go, hey, has anybody been to a class with this guy?
Yeah.
If they say yes, hey, it's a good deal, then we sign them up, we bring them in, and get them working.
And I like how that is like more of an interview process, because you want to make sure everybody who's bought into the organization is getting quality training. That's amazing, because it takes a lot. They put a lot of time and effort to ensure that everybody gets good training, and it's very important on the training. It's very important for officers to receive that. The TTPOA competition. So just what's a quick breakdown as far as how many teams compete? Typically, what is the size of the team? So I know like different SWAT teams throughout the state and also through other countries, they come and compete, and there's a certain size man team that they run through.
We're usually running usually 5 man and an alternate. This year's competition is scheduled right now. We're trying to get it in Houston.
Okay.
That's where we had it last year. It's 5 man and an alternate. It's usually over a weekend type period. So usually they'll come in Wednesday, get registered. There's a little vendor show. The vendor show is not as big as the conference vendor show is bigger.
Yeah.
We still have a vendor show, and then we'll begin the events. They're usually 1 or 2 events a day. Culminates with the obstacle course on Sunday. So.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing, just being out of the competition and And we sign up for vendors also on the conference and also the competition. I mean, for us, it's a great event for us to attend, and it's a unique experience because you get to see. I mean, the competition gets fierce out there, and the guys or the teams, the men and women of the teams, they push hard, and it's awesome to see because everybody's involved, everybody's engaged, and bragging rights, of course.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, and it's a great chance too
Yeah.
for guys from all over the state and out of the state. We have guys from Louisiana and from out of the country.
Yeah.
It gives a little opportunity for networking. So you get to talk to, we get to talk to guys from Louisiana, guys from out of the country. Hey, what are you doing? Comparing tactics, techniques, and procedures. So it's kind of an informal training as well.
Yeah. And one thing, and I'm going to kind of go back to this as far as what they mentioned on instructors and things like that. And they do bring in well-known or instructors who've been in the industry and are very credible. But just like you mentioned earlier, people, if you're new, they provide an opportunity. They give you that platform to show them what you can do. And if it's valuable and you do a great job, then they bring you within the organization to help teach courses. And it says a lot about organizations because it says a lot about TTPOA because some organizations won't even give other people the time of day in that sense. So it's good that you guys do that. And I know I've had plenty of opportunity too when I first started because I think it was 2014 and Houston, I just had a table with a handful of barrels and a TRIARC sign and everything else like that. And then after that, I've just been going every year. And that's the thing. It's just providing opportunity and letting people you're just there to show your product and what you can do. And it helps out, and so that's kind of why we continue to support it because it's been a good platform for us.
Right, and one of the important things about that, each region has their own director that puts on the training. Well, one of the things they do is critiques. Every class, guys fill out critiques, and the directors and myself and the director of operations read those critiques. And if the critiques are good, obviously you come back. If your critique is bad, then we probably won't be seeing much of you anymore. But
And this is the way it is.
Total performance based.
Yeah, it's the way it is because you have an obligation to your members.
Right.
And and it's just the way it is. So that's awesome that you guys do that and you stay on it because I'm sure that people who are thinking about joining the association and they see that you guys go through that whole process, they're going to be more like, okay, well, I know I'm always going to get valuable training. And
we're out there on Facebook, Instagram, the whole
Facebook, Instagram, and hopefully YouTube channel coming soon.
Yeah, hopefully YouTube channel coming soon. We're working on that.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. So let's get into the gear breakdown.
Okay.
All the good gear, and you can see this stuff is highly used. This local SWAT team, they do a lot of good work in their area. So yeah, let's go and talk about what do you have here.
All right, so we have a Strandhog plate carrier from First Spear. This particular one is one of the original 612 versions. I think this particular agency was one of the first local or municipal agencies to run this carrier. And the reason they like it is it's scalable. So in this configuration, it's kind of scaled down, but you can scale it up with bicep protection, groin protection, shoulder protection, and it lets you scale up or scale down.
Okay, great.
It's operator preference. If he wants to wear the biceps, he can wear them. If he decides, no, I don't want to do that, he doesn't have to. Same thing with the groin protector. A lot of it's mission specific, depending on what kind of mission they're going on. They may scale it up or scale it down accordingly.
And you can tell it's been lasting.
Yeah, this
years.
is
How has this rig been in service?
Close to 10 years now.
Yeah, and look at 10 years in service, and I mean, we'll get some close-up shots, but it's highly worn. It's worn. I mean,
yeah, they were amazed at how well they wore. They lasted 10 years. Actually, they did an actual deal at the SHOT Show that we had to send them pictures to see how, because they were looking to see how does the vest wear over time.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not original was the cummerbunds, only because they made overlap cummerbunds. The original version didn't have those. Once they had those, we've changed those. But we've only thing we've ever changed out on these so far is armor, and side armor, and the soft armor, and the hard plates. That's it.
I believe those plates have like a expiration date.
Yep,
right?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years on the soft armor. 5 years on the hard plates.
Awesome. That's good stuff. It's good to see. When you buy good quality gear, good quality, even weapons, just going the distance. It's always awesome to see. So that's good stuff. All right. So what do we have here?
So here, it's basically the belt setup, using the Svartland holster with a UBL. When I been doing this for a while, when I first started, they had the old drop leg holsters with the nylon, and those are kind of gone by the wayside now.
Yeah.
You don't see those too much anymore.
good
Although
old- the
we
good
still
old
have
days.
we still have some.
Yeah, I'll take them off hands.
Most of the guys are
Yeah.
using the UBL on some kind of belt system. I think this one is a what is it? It is a G-code system.
yeah.
But there's different ones out there. I have a Ronin. Some of the guys use Ronin. Some of the guys use the RDR gear. There's several companies out there.
And this particular SWAT team, would be one of their duty pistols, and it's I'm gonna go to remove
Yep,
it.
go ahead.
And just a disclaimer: all the weapons have been cleared and everything like that, so just we know what we're doing. But so standard Glock 17, and this one would be a Gen 4 Surefire X300 light. So, and this has the factory Glock 9 sets, correct?
Yep, that's it.
So-
Exactly.
Workhorse.
Workhorse.
Yeah, workhorse.
Workhorse.
All right, and so the rifle. So this particular SWAT team, this was what I kind of our example of Taylor Solutions and what we do. This obviously has one of our Gen 1 upper receivers. So the department came to us and they kind of expressed what they wanted and what they could work within their budgets. And so what we did was the solution was obviously we refitted a whole new upper, and they maintained their full auto lower receivers, and was 11.5-inch track barrel, and it has a pin gas block. MP3 coded BCG, and they've been in service with this particular SWAT team for how long now?
About 3 years.
Yeah,
maybe?
about 3 years now, and but yeah, workhorse. I mean, you can tell it's got a lot of wear on this particular rifle. Dead air Sam AK attached right here. So you guys are, as I know, this particular team is T&E in this gang, correct?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
And that's another good thing about some of these suppressor companies out there for law enforcement agencies. They do T&Es. So if a department's interested, because I know it takes a while for all that stuff to catch on, but there's all kinds of advantages for a SWAT team or even any type of individuals working in a group, in a sense that reduces the concussive blast. So if you're indoors in vehicles, also the good guy, bad guy identification. So if someone's engaging or you hear gunshots, if it's a suppressed rifle, you could tell that it's one of your guys shooting as opposed to somebody else shooting. So those are some of the good aspects to it. And so if you want to talk about why is this particular team have the rifle set up the way they do.
All right, so
I'll let you take over from
all
there.
right, thanks. Some of it is it's really out of experience. We've had the flip up sights. Some guys like to run the rear side up. Some guys like to run it down. Again, that goes to preference. I keep mine down.
I know this individual prefers to run his front side up.
Yeah, and he runs front side up. Most of them do. The PEC 15s. A lot of the guys run. Matter of fact, all of them run them up front. I think it's really just for the ergonomics. You can work the button. He also has a pressure switch on the side, a dual switch, so he can either do dual switch or he can do the button on the top. The button on the top is way easier as far as zeroing the laser and keeping it out of the way. They tried it on the side before, and that wasn't that didn't work out too well.
Gotcha.
So and then we've had instruction from. Fortunate to have instruction from a lot of guys who've worked with these before, and this is every one of them has recommended up on the top. So that's I mean.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, years of experience. And,
Yes, years of a lot more experience than what we had. So
Gotcha.
obviously you
That's
yield
why-
to the experience because that's what you should do.
And that's why TTPOA puts on these classes, because
Exactly.
individuals can use it and see if they just make their own decision and see if they like it themselves.
Exactly.
That's good
Exactly.
stuff. And so we got a vampire, tan vampire. Hey.
Yep, tan vampire. That's obviously for when they use night vision. Not everybody has this particular light. Some guys have this light. Some guys have the Enforce lights.
Gotcha.
Again, it's
So this team's more user preference on the line.
User preference,
They just have to
right.
have and optic.
optic. We have aim point T2s or H2s, I think actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the Daniel Defense mount. It's funny, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, just
with the mounts.
Good simple mount.
Yeah, it's a good simple mount, and one of our friends over there at Unity now, Chip, when we first got him, asked, "Hey, are you going to be taking them on and off?" And we're like, "No," and he recommended this mount. We've had it ever since.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to take it on and off, there's no reason to really have the QD part.
Gotcha.
So that's really why we went to this.
Awesome.
We talked about the can. We're in the process of testing and evaluating right
Yeah.
now. We have different models out there. This one just happens to be on this gun.
Yeah. That's good that the department's particularly doing it because, like I said, just do your research, do your homework, but also if a company allows you to have access to test and evaluation, then take advantage of it fully because that's where you're going to get hands on the product, and it might work or might not work out, but you'll be able to make a good decision and purchase.
Yeah, the big thing is testing, and one of the big things now is the hearing loss. Guys are losing their hearing; they're getting hearing aids.
Yeah.
I mean, most of you guys probably know the short guns are loud. They are
Yeah.
very, very loud, and guys are losing their hearing. It's just the way it is. So this, I mean, for us, Chris talked about the blowback, but it's also the sound. You know, you're out on a range, depending on what range you're on, you're getting a lot of concussion, and it's not good for your ears. And that's
Indoor ranges, all that stuff.
that damage is irreparable. So
Yeah, and you have to train.
yeah, and you have to train, and you have
Gotta
to
be
train.
proficient.
One of the reasons, slings. This is a Magpul sling, but again, it's
Yeah.
shooter preference. A guy who wants to go, buy a slingster from Faro or whoever, they can. It doesn't matter. It's whatever they like. We went with 11.5. When I first got on the team, way back, we had HK53s, which is like a 9-inch barrel. It's a long,
Yeah,
really
that's-
date myself.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So
Keep doing it.
we
'cause
had
I don't
those.
have to do it.
We had those. Then we've had 11.5s ever since.
Mm-hmm.
We switched. We had very briefly went to 14.5s, and the guys again went to some training. Fortunate enough to train with some guys who were really experienced, and we found the 14.5s aren't as maneuverable as the 11.5, so we went back to 11.5, and we've been there ever
Yeah,
since.
so the give and take was mobility.
Mobility, right?
Correct.
Getting in and out of cars,
Yeah.
moving around buildings, and it's funny through TTPOA, you see guys from all over the state and even in the United States, and it changes. 11.5s are very popular. Some guys like the 10.5s. Some guys like the 12.5s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really a team preference.
Well, and plus the good thing too that's one thing to bring back the TTPOA competition is that all the different SWAT teams out there and what weapon systems they run and how well it interacts with obstacles or some of the challenges they have to do within the competition. So it's very interesting to watch. So, okay, so another thing about this weapon. So this SWAT team, they've had their upper receivers for coming close to 3 years, and it's a Gen 1 of one of our upper receivers. So a new program that we're just going to start implementing with this particular SWAT team, and hopefully extend it out to other ones is an upgrade. So we're going to work something out to where we can upgrade to the newer TRIARC rail. But that's something hopefully in the future that we'll have a more detailed plan and more structure to it. Right now, we're kind of working the kinks out to see how it's going to go, but within the near future, we will be able to go back to the older departments and do a retrofit or an upgrade to the TRIARC rail. So that's good stuff, and they've already been testing it right now. And we'll move forward. We're gonna move forward. It just takes time, so we'll get there. Let's talk about this lid here.
So the helmet, again, came time for an upgrade. The helmets we had were pretty old and worn. It's time for some new ones. Guys voted. We had people come out, and they went with OpScore. It's they have different models. And again, that was almost like ordering a pizza because it was like, well, some guys like this one, some guys like that one. So we finally settled on the Fast LE, and the guys like it. So it
So
came
some
in.
of the accessories you got.
Yeah,
right?
so
is this a helmet cover that comes with it? That
No,
they make?
the helmet is just straight up foliage green. So we got our uniforms, our multicam, so they got the multicam covers.
Yeah.
That was an accessory, and also we got the Unity tactical Peltor adapters, so guys could attach their comms to their helmet if they want to. If they don't, they can wear them underneath. We have the integrated bungees on the OpScore shroud, and then the Wilcox night vision mount.
Awesome.
For the night vision. Most of the guys have the duals, BNVDs.
And this is the L3 version, correct?
There's yes, L3
Yeah.
version.
Okay, great.
The big selling point for this
Yeah.
helmet was the worm dial. They liked the worm dial, had to have the worm dial, and that's what they liked, and that's what we went with, and they are very, very happy with that right now.
Awesome.
So,
That's a lot of good information. We appreciate you coming out to the shop,
Absolutely.
I know you're a busy guy, and thanks for coming in and talking about all the gear, because we get a lot of questions, especially a lot of law enforcement officers, they come in because, especially questions on rifle, they ask, well, what are some other departments using, and some of the reference sheets, as far as when a department's looking into us and we provide references, that's some of the questions that they've asked some of, the references are like, why'd you get, the 10.5, or why'd you go with the 12.5, things like that. So
Sure.
appreciate all you viewers out there for tuning in. Means a lot to us, and we'll catch you on the next episode.